What we are going to do now is we're going to follow up after our other session giving you the global from start to finish. We're going to look at the four components. First of all, the exterior. So when you're following along on your sheet, you're going to pull this out so that you have a good grasp of how to score this thing as we go through. Here's the rules on assessing the building. First of all, you will have made contact with the school district prior to showing up, arranging the time, because we know that during school hours, those are things that some superintendents, one, won't allow you to do. Two is you may want to do some video on such as what we're doing today for your own sake if you're really into this and want to get a good grasp of what to look for and share it among other people. Secondly, you're going to find out the building name, number, if there is a number. In this particular case, we're doing Middleton Middle School, which is our scoring sheet I showed you, building number 1. That means there is only one building, 101. And then the year built and the square footage. That has to be on the bottom of the sheet before we start. As you know, those are what's used to help make the mathematical computations of the cost. So we're going to do the exterior, and here's what we do. The first rule is we walk the entire premise of the exterior. We would start at this point. We would go all the way around the building looking as we go through at these four ingredients so that we know we got a good judgment. Never evaluate a piece of building from one perspective. You can see that this building has been recently renovated. We had a contractor come in and do a facelift of the outside, which is drive it. And if you looked at this building, you think this was a new building. The thing you didn't see is the back side of the building. We were only able to do 3/4 of the exterior skin of the building. That's why when I evaluate this building, and you saw there, I said walls of the building is fair because I have about 25 to 30% of the building that is not good. You can mathematically compute the score of the building, and we'll do that with carpet. 25% of the carpet is poor. 75% is new. Well, that equates, as you average it out, maybe to good or fair. Exterior of the building, we're looking for this, foundation. So you're going to look next to the walls of the building, all the way around this building, and see if indeed, as you look at your little cheat sheets here, you see any cracks, you see any settling. Settling, you can tell by the walls. These are straight walls as you look at them. These walls are straighter than heck. You go back, go to that corner, you look straight down right along there, and you see no sags. That means good straight walls. You see no settling, which means a piece of that wall would be higher or lower. That's settling. You're going to look there and see to yourself, as your sheet shows, is there any sign of intrusion of exterior to the inside? That's the number one cause of malfunction building. Climate control extrusion, which means rain going through, cold going through, something coming from the outside going through that's going to deteriorate the building further. So, in this case, the answer from when we walk the building and you walk the entire premise is that this building foundation is good. You're not finding any settling, you're not finding any cracks, you're not finding any walls that are jagged. And so as I walk the entire building, I've made the judgment on this sheet, circled that category that are number 1.1, foundation and structure is good, worth 12 points. Walls is the next thing. I'm going to look at these walls entirely, and that's why when I walk the building, I want to be in mind, I want this sheet in front of me, all four of those 1.1 to 1.5, actually 5. Walls will give you an indication, as we see on the back side of this, that we have some walls that are cracked, that are some penetration through them. Woodpecker holes has pecked through a piece of those, just as what we had here before we did a major overhaul. When we're through with the walls, then we're going to say globally, how are the walls? Well, in this case, we got about 25% of the back side of these walls that aren't good. So you figure on a 100-point scale, that puts us about 25 down. So we judge fair, circle fair. Roofs, you're going to need a ladder, and you need to go up on top. You get up on a ladder and you walk the roof just as you walk the building, because they may have done a piece of that roof that is leaking, and you may see patches everywhere. What you may find up on a roof is this. You may find a gravel roof. That's extremely hard to maintain, and that's extremely hard to evaluate. You can't tell whether or not you got wrinkles, you got cuts, scratches, what's up there. So you're just going to have to be subjective and ask the maintenance guys, how old is this roof? How long has it been replaced? We can validate that when we go inside. If we see ceiling tiles that are discolored, that are sagging, then it tells us they've had roofing problems. And as they tell us, we got a brand new roof on this, then our next question to them on the interior is, when's the last time you have replaced ceiling tiles? And you can tell if that's fresh or not just by looking at the color of the stain on the tiles. So we then are at roofs. You go up on this roof, you're going to find it's a brand new roof. We put EPDM, which is a type of roofing. There are about 4 types of roofing. You can do shingles, you can do shakes, you can do metal, or you can do EPDM, which is a material that is a white vinyl material that is attached seamlessly without any intrusions through that. That's a good way to do it. They do a mechanical weld up there, then they stretch it tight on the side there, then they attach that. If it's attached with screws throughout, then you can have problems, and those are things you need to look at. You can see a screw hole, and if it is discolored and rusted, that means eventually you're going to get protrusions through that seam. So when we got up on this roof and did our climb today, we say that the roof's new, so it's good. Windows and doors, same thing. You see doors through here. You look at the doorways there and you say to the doors yourself, sag, space, closures, are they closing? Hardware on the side. See those 2 extreme pieces of hardware. That told us that door probably lost some of the structural integrity at its time, and we replaced those hinges with a seamless hinge there along the same line. Then we look at the doors themselves. Any holes in the doors? Any pieces, broken window, glass in there, the shell itself around there, and then we look at all the way around the building. We say, okay, here's 2 more doors. Same thing. Does that hold true with those doors? Glasses. Remember that we're doing a global of the entire building. So when we got through looking at this building, we walked around it, we found the windows and doors good. We didn't have anything that, as you look on your sheet, that showed a big problem. So that was marked good and was scored good. Last category there is trim. Trim means the pieces that are above. This is considered a hinge, but the trim would be around the building itself, around the windows, the caulking part. This is a area entryway here, so it doesn't have a lot of trim. But as you look over the building, you can see water drops that are pushing through due to the fact that it doesn't have any trim on here, doesn't have any rain gutters on here, and doesn't have anything that trims it up. You look on top here, there's part of your trim. See that new rain gutter that's all along there? That was put into the building after the fact. That rain gutter is part of your trim, and that has a huge effect upon this wall lasting of there. And so that's a piece of your trim. As you walk this building, you're going to find the trim is good. We've replaced all the rain gutters. We've replaced all of the pieces around the windows, so trim is good. Now, we've scored the exterior of the building. That gave you an opportunity to say you're 25% through the assessment of the building in this component. This component scored overall 28 points. So what I want you to be able to do is to go back to your sheet and say, okay, 28 points. Over on your scoring sheet itself is put 28 in here, and then tell me what portion of that 28 equated to a score, which in this case, as you look, a 28 is a good score because the range on a building is 28 to 31. So had that been 27, we would have dropped a category into fair. So 28 right on the category with good. You're down 1 of the 4 components now with scoring.